G20 discussions on tax include a focus on taxing high net worth individuals and multinational corporations more effectively to address global inequalities. Our reporter Gloria Sefako-Musi has more for us from Soweto.
We're coming to you from Soweto, in the south of Johannesburg, a few kilometers away from where the Leaders Summit is currently happening. Well, the leaders have been in discussions this morning discussing how to deal with inequality and poverty. Some of the issues that have been in discussion since South Africa took presidency of the G20 in December of last year has been to deal with the issues of dealing with inequality. One of the topics that was put on the table is taxing the super rich to try and deal with inequality, global inequality. We understand that there's a suggestion that super billionaires should be taxed, especially multinational companies as well, to try and fund social and environmental issues. We know the world has been dealing with climate change, where we've seen the effects, even here in South Africa, where we've dealt with rains that have destroyed farms and those kind of issues. So we understand that there has been the declaration that has been adopted at this summit, despite opposition from the United States. We are now at this event where Oxfam, a charitable international organization, has arranged an interaction with the media to talk about why they see taking the super rich as a great idea that has gone into that declaration. We are joined now by Oxfam Policy Advisor Isobel Frey. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us. Firstly, just your reaction on leaders adopting the declaration at the summit.
Oxfam is really proud of South Africa and the way that South Africa stood up to an attempt to bully and to not reach consensus. So that we think is a very strong commitment to multilateralism. And also it's a victory for the African continent. This is the first G20 held in Africa. And the fact that we held the line and set a standard on multilateralism, we're really pleased with. We also believe that the handing over of the G20 presidency to the US is a much stronger handover because of the declaration.
And you have been calling for taxing the super rich to try and deal with inequality. Why is this an important priority for Oxfam?
Inequality has been part of our work for the last number of years. Every year, Oxfam publishes a Davos report where we detail different aspects of inequality. So when the South African government adopted equality as one of its three themes, we were really pleased, and we've been working behind the scenes just to ensure that inequality remains on the agenda. The establishment of the Stiglitz Committee of the Extraordinary Committee of Independent Experts on Global Inequality was an incredibly courageous and bold step. I was present in Cape Town on the 4th of November when President Ramaphosa was handed the report, and we believe that that not only sets the bar, but it also gives national governments indicators of how they can reduce inequality. Of course, the call by the Stiglitz Committee for the adoption of an international panel on inequality is also really important, and we were very pleased to see that this is supported by President Ramaphosa as well as President Lula of Brazil and also Prime Minister Sanchez of Spain. And that's a really good start in order to get global support for this critical inequality panel.
So there has been some criticism to the idea of taxing the rich to try and deal with inequality, with some saying that that could stifle entrepreneurship and innovation. What's your reaction to that?
Oxfam's calling for a taxation of the super rich, and this follows from Brazil's G20 commitments last year. So we don't believe that it will stifle entrepreneurship. And in fact, our research has shown that the high level of inequality, and this is also what the Stiglitz report found, actually stifles entrepreneurship. So where you have monopolies that stifle competition, smaller entry people can't come in. So we're saying tax the super rich and use that money to reduce inequality by providing quality services, education, healthcare, which then generates a healthy and productive further new generation. And so you look at sustainability and solidarity.
How would that contribute to economic growth?
By a greater redistribution of available resources. We look, for instance, at the combined wealth of the billionaires in G20 states in the last year. It exceeded $2 billion US. Now, that in itself would have been enough to move the almost 4 billion people out of poverty in the world. So that when you have a redistribution of resources held by the elite few, that stimulates demand and therefore supply, and so you generate jobs, you ensure a very smooth moving of the economy in a way which is not happening right now.